Acapulco is a beautiful city on the southern coast of Mexico, known as a popular destination for tourists seeking relaxing days and wild nights the world over. However,
surely, no one's going to go as a tourist to the most violent city in the world, right?
State forces racing in to nab local police.
Some of the stuff he had with him fell, like the radio and the different phones. And when I seen a few different types of phones there on the ground, and the radio, I already knew that it was not a joke what just happened, that it was not just some bomb. I want to give a special shout out to my good friend and ex-colleague, armed guard in Acapulco, Mexico. Now that said, these images are from across the street from Baby O. And these are the images that a lot of bodyguards would have in the nightlife there. And they would park their cars illegally, as you will see here in a minute. Like this car in the middle of the street over there, across the street is parked illegally. These cars right here in front that you guys see are parked legally. But that car over there is parked suspiciously illegally. I don't know if this guy is a narco or a cop or whatever, but he's just sitting there in his car like it's all good. But this is the kind of things you see there now, you know, it's not unusual. It's just a trip that he actually caught this on camera just by making the video. Now that's the famous Baby O entrance. This is where a lot of people have spent their entire night not being able to get in. Lots of bouncers, lots of bodyguards here all over the place at night. You know, if you haven't seen my video on the bodyguard Secret Service gunfight versus the son of the chief of police, click on this link above. Now, if you haven't seen part 1, watch part 1, because that will explain everything leading up to the fight. So, after I got out of the club, this is my walk when I had to go to the store. If not, I would cross the street to go home. But this is basically the spot where the fight went down, right over here. This circle represents me, the pink one represents the waiter, and the arrow represents the path that this dude was trying to take. So basically I'm standing there having my beer like that, and the waiter is next to me on this side. We're chit-chatting like that, you know, whatever, blah, blah. I look over, and on the side of my eye, you know, I see a guy walking this way. You know, and I did hear like a radio type of voice coming out of him. Now keep in mind, this guy was not like a high cartel member or something. They're called halcones, which their job is to just watch the street and report any government activity. Okay, so I didn't even know who he was at that very moment. So I'm standing there with my beer like this. We're talking, and the guy decides to just be an a-hole. He basically just bumps right into me. Keep in mind, he's this tall and he's quite skinny, about this tall. He bumps into me quite hard. You know, I'm holding my beer, so when he bumps into me, I already saw it coming because I'm standing there looking like that, but from the side of my eye, I could see his movement. I could see his hands. So he bumps into me. I'm looking this way, but I was basically able to see all the movement. I was able to see his hands. I was able to see that he didn't have anything in his hands, but I did hear like a radio voice coming out of him. But basically, I moved this way, and I go against his push. So he goes that way. He still moved that way, but I basically really moved him because I'm way heavier. And basically I went like that. He was only about this tall. So I basically go that way, and I turn to look this way, and he keeps walking that way, looks at me, says something, takes a few steps forward, and I see he basically only went like this. Took one, two, he was basically going for the second step. I'm looking at him, and I basically just let him have it.
Snapped him back with that one.
Have you guys seen my sparring videos where I kick people? I usually kick, touch them, and bring it back. But with him, I really went through it nasty. I really went through with it. All the way through with it. Like I really just let him have it. I didn't just stab him and bring it back. I went like that and all the way through, put all my weight in it. So basically he goes flying. He goes flying about, I don't know how many feet, but it basically, his butt hit right near the door and the back of his head hit the side of the door. And so he felt pretty nasty, you know. And after I kick him, the waiter is like,
calm down. I'm like, me calm down, let him calm down. He bumped into me. And then he looks at me and he's like, all right. We're gonna see. I'm gonna get you back. And he goes in the store. And basically, you know, right after that, you guys may have guessed, I left because I could also tell by the guy's attitude that he wasn't just anyone. And when he hit the ground and I saw his legs go like up a little bit, some of the stuff he had with him fell, like the radio and the different phones. And when I seen a few different types of phones there on the ground, and the radio, I already knew that it was not a joke what just happened, that it was not just some bum, even though he did look like that. Like he was wearing like shorts and flip-flops and like a over long shirt. He smelled like he hadn't showered. Yeah. But after that, he called a bunch of guys and they came after me. They were looking for me all over the street. Armed guys, you know, SUVs, all that stuff. And, you know, they couldn't find me and they went to the club and they asked for me there. And I'm gonna sit back down and tell you guys the rest of the story.